And just a quick question on the issue of equal pay.
Mm-hmm.
The president just cited a figure of women making 77 cents on the dollar compared to men. I'm wondering if you've looked at a couple of people have looked at White House salaries. There was an AEI study that said the median salaries in the White House, women make 88% of what men make. And I think PolitiFact had a similar study back during the campaign. How do you explain what appears to be a wage gap here at the White House?
Well, I would say a couple of things about this. We know that closing the gender wage gap is a key part of our economic agenda, women's agenda, and here at the White House, equal pay legislation deems that there should be equal pay for equal work, and that's what we have. Men and women in equivalent roles here earn equivalent salaries. For example, we have 2 deputy chiefs of staff, 1 man and 1 woman, and they earn the same salary. We have 16 department heads. Over half of them are women, all of whom make the same salary as their male counterparts. And I think that it is worth noting, as anyone who participates in our senior staff meetings can see, that we have here in the White House over half the women over half the staff are women and fulfilling key senior leadership roles across the board, including Deputy Chief of Staff Alyssa Mastromonaco, Counterterrorism Advisor Lisa Monaco, National Security Advisor Susan Rice, White House Counsel Kathy Rumler, Senior Advisor to the President Valerie Jarrett, Director of Domestic Policy Cecilia Munoz, Director of Communications Jennifer Palmieri, Director of Legislative Affairs Katie Byrne-Fallon, Director of Scheduling Danielle Crutchfield, and Director of Management and Administration Katie Kale. And what that tells you is the President has enormously qualified people in the most senior spots in the White House. And they're
But why is it the median salary of women in the White House is 88% of men?
I think that those studies look at the aggregate of everyone on staff, and that includes from the most junior levels to the most senior. What I can tell you is that we have, as an institution here, have aggressively addressed this challenge. And obviously, though, at the 88 cents that you cite, that is not 100, but it is better than the national average. And when it comes to the bottom line that women who do the same work as men have to be paid the same, there is no question that that is happening here at the White House at every level.
Follow up on John's question about pay equity. So you're basically saying that women at the senior levels here make equal or more than men, but if you're at the lower level and you're a woman on the White House staff, you don't make as much?
No, that would be a misreading and misinterpretation of what I said. Everybody at every level here at the White House is paid the same for the same work, male or female. And that is reflected at the most senior levels here, where half or more than half of the department heads are women. Some of the most senior positions in the White House are filled by women, including National Security Advisor, Homeland Security Advisor, White House Counsel, Communications Director, Senior Advisor, Deputy Chief of Staff.
So
it goes on and on. Well, I think I just explained that, but I'll do it for you as well, and that is that when you look at the aggregate, and this includes everybody from the most senior levels to the lowest levels, you're averaging all salaries together, which means including the lowest level salaries, which may or may not be, depending on the institution, filled by more women than men. But at every level, here at the White House, you're paid the same for the work that you do, regardless of your gender.
Federal contractors, some of them say that that's what they're doing as well, but the numbers are off because of what you just stated.
The equal pay issue, Ed, and I'm glad you're taking an interest in it, is focused on ensuring that, for example, Lilly Ledbetter was in a circumstance where she had no idea that she was being paid less than men who were doing the same work until she was informed well after the fact through an anonymous tip. And the legislation the President signed in his first week in office addressed that issue. The actions he's going to take tomorrow using his executive authority address those issues, and they have to do with making sure that women are not discriminated against when they're doing the same job and being paid less for it.
Right. And Senator Reid is going to have a vote tomorrow, I believe, on this issue, and the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee is putting out what they're calling a GOP pay gap and saying that there are Republican senators who are preventing women from, say, making the same amount as men. A couple weeks ago, when I asked you about this issue and asked you if midterm election year politics had anything to do with this, you said you were offended at that question, that politics had nothing to do with this. With the DSCC pushing this issue in that way, do you still stand behind the idea this
That's
is
like saying the
not a
DSCC
political
pushing
issue?
the minimum wage or pushing any agenda item that they believe is important policy is about the midterm elections. I would remind you that the President of the United States, the first law he signed, first bill he signed into law, was the Lilly Ledbetter bill. That was a long time from any election. So the actions the President's taking this week, the action that he supports that the Democratic senators are taking, reflect a commitment that he's held and proven his interest in from the very beginning of his time in office.